Hey guys and gals, let's start another project. This is the Atari Video Computer System, set number 10306, contains 2,532 bricks. And you heard me correctly, this is going to be, well, it's a non-functioning Atari, but just made in Lego bricks. And this is the 50th edition of Atari, I believe. So we're going to take a look at the manual first, and we're going to get to building. So, if any of you guys and gals remembered one of these, I sure do. And this is what we had back in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up. We didn't have Xbox or Minecraft or 4K video or anything like that. So we're just going to take a look here at some of the stuff. And yes, I've played Asteroids and I have played Centipede, but never have played the adventure game. I don't know what that's about. And so it looks just like the original. And tells you the layout and stuff in the back. So it's almost like, and it's a building instruction manual, but it's almost like you can play this. So, and I'm just from the design team. So it looks like this just slides out here. And yeah, I do remember this, sitting in front of the TV playing for hours and such. So, before we get into the build, we're going to take a look at the stickers. And so here's the stickers for Adventure, the Centipede, and Asteroids. Out of all these here, well, I haven't played this one or this one here, but I think Asteroids was the best. You'd think they would have put like some other games in there and stuff, but maybe this is meant to be as an expansion pack. So there are indeed 16 bags, so this is pretty much what it shows you. Bags 1 and 2, looks like they make the carts, or makes one cart in this. So how am I going to break this build up? I'm just going to work for an hour, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're going to start with step 1, and we'll work our way for about an hour and see how far we get. And I am literally just out of space over here. So this is a set here. You know, if it's got stickers, this is something that I grew up with, so this should be pretty cool. It should be pretty fun to put together. And if you've watched the brick exploration, there are lots of plates and bricks in this set. And I was running out of containers, so I had to piece it all together. So here's the power cord. Some of these plates may not belong with this because they might go in the latter part of the bags. They were in a separate bag, so I just threw them in here. So let's get going. I don't know how long I'm going to be working, but I want to at least do an hour. Because next week I'm going to be very busy, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a lot of this or not. So we'll see how far we can get. Of course, it's Friday night, so that tells you how bored I am. Now, I grew up with Atari, and I think 86 or 87 the Nintendo came out, and that's when things changed, and that's pretty much what it is. Okay, it's telling me to put all these stickers on here. What I'm going to do, it may be easier to put the stickers on by hand. And the adventure game, honestly, you look at the graphics on these, and you always thought the game was fun until you brought it home. That's when it was like, really? Or if anybody's ever played the original Pac-Man, Yeah, you were in for a real treat. And the only way to get really good video games at the time was, well, at an arcade. See, we didn't have game consoles and stuff that handled too much graphics. And so the set's going to start off at a 10, and I'm already struggling with stickers, so you know exactly what is going to happen, sadly. Because putting these on is pain. Lego never figured for this. Now some parts in this are printed, so that's really good. Well, I got it on there. There's probably a few air bubbles under there. Game program. Yeah. Will I ever be tearing this apart? I don't know. And step 2 goes on a 1x6 flat tile. Or sticker 2. So we're only on step 3 right now, and we're just stickering it up. So this is not a use with joystick controllers. And putting black on black is almost impossible for me to see. Black is like getting to be a harder color. And so we're not even really into the build array. We're already putting gobs of stickers on things. So this set now has just dropped down to a 9 real quick. I'm very hard on sets. It's like when I look at my old mocks and tutorials, I look at those and I'm like, I could have done a lot better, you know, with the builds. And, you know, that kind of thing. So that's another one. And yes, we're going to have to put a sticker on some big tiles, and these are usually tough too. I'm going to just peel this back a little bit. I'm just going to apply the sticker on the corner here. See if that works. Now, mind you, if you've never played Atari before, the graphics were always lacking. I think it only displayed 4 colors on the screen at the same time. And there wasn't a whole lot of options. So even if you had a color television, it was not really of any use. Alright, I got that on there as best I can, so I'm going to try to smooth this out without getting any wrinkles in it. Yeah, well, that's probably the little dimple that's in the middle of the tile. I wish these were printed. I really do. This would have been a really nice novelty piece. And yes, I don't know what the original cartridge size were because I have them in storage. I still have my 2600 from the 80s when I was growing up. So I still have that. I still have my old television that I grew up with. The TV needs to be capped, and the Atari needs to be recapped and pretty much cleaned and stuff. So, and yes, that's how big the games were. I mean, now, you know, cell phones now are smaller than that. Well, we're on step 4, and I got to put more stickers on bricks too. Okay, we got to put sticker 5 on here. Yeah, so if you're not a fan of stickers, you know, the set, per piece count, it's probably not too bad, but when we get to the latter part of the build, you'll see some pieces are printed, unless you already watched the brick exploration, then, you know. I wonder we're going to have to blow into the carts to Make sure this one stays clean too, you know. Remember back in the day you had to blow into them just to knock the dust out of them. And somebody would use those cart cleaners, which actually did more harm to the cartridge insert than it was, you know, than it was intended for. Okay. So I'm hoping you get to see everything here. May need to bring this thing down a bit more. But when I was offered this and I thought, oh, this would make an excellent build and review. You know, for somebody like myself who grew up in that era, you know, playing these type of things. We didn't have Xbox or anything, so this is the next best thing. Although you'd rather be outside than playing video games. I was an outdoors kid, so I didn't really sit inside the house all day playing video games. This is more like a nighttime activity after dinner before you went to bed. And you really couldn't save your progress on one of these. There was no memory back then in these things that you could save your games. And let me flip this around where I can see what we're doing. I may have to clean this camera off, so I got to keep an eye on it. So I'm going to just do a few bags at a time. There's a green tile that goes in here. So this is not like the Nintendo, the little Nintendo TV. This is far from that. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got to build 3 more. They're different types. So set that off to the side. You see, you got to build 3 of these. And this does provide the history in here too. So many of the first Atari video computer system cartridges use just 2, can't even read on this dark gray, 2 kilobytes or 2K of data. That's roughly equivalent to a single page of text. Well, yeah, that's pretty much about it. Something this big, right? Now we can put what half a petabyte on one of those now. That just shows you how advanced this stuff's gotten, you know. And once microchips evolved, they just made them smaller and smaller and cheaper. So the cost doesn't really get driven up. It's just usually the technology, you know. Something we had to learn back in the old in computer programming class, and I got to make 3 of those. A page of text, but what format though? Notepad, Word, PowerPoint maybe? I don't know. Notepad++. So it's something different. This is almost like doing the Transformer sets. This is more like a novelty thing. Now, so far the build quality, just ignore the stickers for a second, it's not terribly bad. Is it repetitive? We don't know yet. So this build here looks like, from just looking at the bags, it's kind of random. So as long as everything's kind of randomized, it's not stale and boring, at least it's not a micro build, it'll be fine. Okay. Not sure what the ladder's for, and then this piece goes on the top. I remember when I get a few of those carts and I would take them apart, there was a little chip in there about this size with prongs that would stick out. And that was the video game, that was it. And you're looking at something like that thinking, well, that don't make sense. Well, that's how they did it back then. This is pretty flimsy here, you gotta be careful. May have to just do this on something flat. And then Okay, how does it even go in there? Okay, this lip goes in the back. Alright, let me set that on something flat here. It's not going in, so there we go. Well, apparently the tiles weren't stuck down all the way too. Right, so you really got to mush those down in there. Yeah, I noticed people are watching more of these, which is cool. Appreciate it. Well, this thing's kind of flimsy, but that seems like it just doesn't fit in there all the way. So you're really going to have to really mush all that down in there. So I think this slides out. So you remember back in the day, you'd have to go blow that dust out of those. And later on we learned, just keep your carts facing like this. Upside down. So the dust didn't get in there. Yeah, but I still have my old setup. I had a Sony Trinitron TV when I was a kid. It was like back from the early 70s. The only way to turn it on and off is by unplugging it and plugging it in, and that was pretty much about it. And I think that's it. Let me check. We got one more sticker on this here. Let me make sure I got everything here. Yeah, I don't see any more stickers, so that's it. So we'll save that sticker sheet, put it off to the side. So that's really how big one of these cartridges are. And like I said, now you can get solid state hard drives are what, half this thickness. This even weighs. I remember these things were probably lighter weight when I was a kid, but the Lego version's probably far more superior. But you know, when you're a kid, you throw these around and stuff, and surprising they were pretty durable, what they were. Alright, let's begin the next portion. That's a good thing about doing these builds. And honestly, if I were to do a speed build, you would not get the story or anything with any of this stuff. I've had a few guys and gals comment and said you actually like the stories with it and stuff. It's a little different than just, okay guys, I'm going to build the Atari and just do this. And that's all you would see, which, you know, some people like myself, like for me with my brain and the way I comprehend data in my mind, I can't keep up, so I just snub my nose to those. You know, if you're gonna do speed build, you may as well just put one part in there and just do that, or just do a complete stop motion with it. So there's more to it. Yep, so I got to do a lot of stuff related to work. Stuff that I really don't want to do. Then I have to do the dentist this week. Well, next week. I'm going in there for my usual cleaning and checkup, which every time I go in there it seems like they find more problems. I don't know if that's due to old age or what. It's how it is. It's like, sometimes when you're in the dentist office and you just sit there listening, it seems like some people, they don't have not one problem with them. And there was this one guy, you know, the dentist was bragging about he had perfect teeth. And he goes, oh, later on he goes, oh, yeah, but he couldn't pay his bill. I was like, so he has perfect teeth, but he can't pay his bill. Well, I can pay my bills. I just don't want to pay them. Especially when it comes to dentists and medical and stuff, but you got to do it. Yeah, so far so good. Lots of yellow in here. It reminds me of a Super Mario set. I just never cared much for the dentist, though. It's not that I hate my dentist or anything. Every time I go in there is always bad news, and I'm like, show me the proof, you know, before I start shelling out coin. And they'll walk me through it. I'm like, oh, okay. You're thinking, I'm just going in there for a cleaning. I'm going to get out of here real quick. And now I'm kind of second guessing things, you know, especially when the cost of stuff goes up. You kind of second guess things that people tell you, like, oh, you have to have this, this, and that done. It's like going to getting your car fixed. That's when I'm starting to learn how to fix stuff myself on my own vehicle. Because sometimes you don't know, a mechanic may just hose you over, and you don't have to pay some big bill. They'll just put a garageman's lien on your vehicle or something, and you don't want that. I've only known one person ever have one of those, and I'm like, yeah. And they tack on an interest fee too. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so we have to put a sticker on a tile, and the other 3 tiles are just whatever, so we have to put one on here. And I believe we have one more thing on this sticker sheet left. Looks like about the size for a 2x3 flat tile, so I have a feeling we're going to deface that. I think that's sticker number 6, and yes it is. And I just finally got my car put back together now, and I just need to now go look and get some estimates on how much is it going to cost to paint it. You know, I'm just going to keep it the same factory color, it just looks better. I don't know what this is for, some kind of display stand. Let's see here. They don't really show you here, but it's one of these plates that goes here. Sometimes just them hiding things, you just have to assume. And this just feels a little bit flimsy here. So I'm taking it that this is meant as a novelty piece. And, you know, which leads to, could you put this in a city? Well, I haven't finished building it yet, but obviously no. Unless you're planning on using that as a billboard or something to advertise a game. I don't know, but I'm hoping to do at least 2 to 4 bags, but I don't think we're going to be doing 4. Oh, I need 2 more of those tiles. At least the small pieces so far are pretty manageable. It's not like it's just cake with tons of small stuff. So this is pretty manageable. So if you can't tolerate small pieces, well, this set does have a few of them, but it's not terribly bad. Alright. This step here is pretty confusing. Reason being is they got a bunch of parts here you have to pay attention to. Now, you'll be tempted to put this in the center, this 2x2 plate. Okay, you don't want to do that. Okay. So I looked at that, I had to look at that twice and thinking, oh, we can't put that there. And just start piecing it together. And now with YouTube, I can easily share my findings with you guys and gals, you know. Now this set here, if you are just a video game guy, I'm not a hardcore gamer or anything, but if you grew up in this time of between the 70s and the 90s, you probably played Atari before, at least once in your life. And if you're into this type of thing, yes, this would be a really good set. So, for someone like myself, well, once I played Nintendo, I wouldn't want to go back. Atari wasn't really my thing. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I think my parents had the Atari. Well, this goes down here. They had the Atari, I think, a year or 2 after I was born. So, I'm trying to think. This console came. I know it came out in the 70s. I think it's older than I am. I don't really know. But Atari was one of the first to started that up. I know there was can't remember that one, was it Activision or something, and there was Pong. Pong was the very first one I know that came out, and Pong is before my time, but that's what started all this. So just imagine if you're a hardcore gamer and you've never played Pong. I played the original Pong. It's fun up to a point, but after a while it's repetitive. So it's not like, you're not going to go and venture. You just basically, it's basically like tennis or ping pong. Just basically bouncing a ball back and forth across the screen. And that's pretty much what it is. And that's what started it up. If I'm getting my gaming facts right, then there was the Microsoft, I think it's Microsoft Odyssey, I don't know, I can't remember, where it was a little more advanced. And then Atari, I believe it's a Japanese gaming company, where it kind of started the whole console thing. A little fun fact about Atari, which fell to its demise. Now don't get me wrong, it's a really good console for its day, but the problem with Atari was that their console was pretty much open source. I mean, somebody could write up their own games, put it on there, and Atari wouldn't be able to make any money off of it. So I think that was one of the reasons what killed them off. And it means I can go in and write up my own game or my own program and install it on the Atari. Well, not install it, but run the code through it. And that's pretty much what happened. And that was the end of that. I played Atari until about the mid-90s. I started really getting heavy into Nintendo, and that's when I was like, yeah, we can shelf this. And that's the last of the Atari. It got shelved, and that's pretty much what happened. And then I was introduced to the PlayStation in '95. I got this right here. So this is the little castle here for adventure. So far it looks pretty good. My apologies for the bad angle. Yeah, so sorry if you guys and gals don't really care much for the, the reminiscing down memory lane, but sometimes it makes good story times and stuff about, playing Atari or just playing video games in general. And that's pretty much about it. Yeah, so the build, there's some steps that are a little obscured, but it's straightforward. It's not like a nasty build or anything yet. I haven't really had any issues with it. Just, is it boring? It's keeping my interest so far, so we're good. But remember, we're still on bag 1, so I may have to break this thing down into probably 6 or 8 sessions. It depends. Okay, I need that. Okay, so those are even. Okay, good. We got that done. Yeah, I've been in a Star Wars frenzy, and I haven't watched episode 5 of Star Wars yet, mainly because I got this here, and I do my builds at night, and so it's the weekend, and I don't want to spend my weekends laying in bed watching movies, but I've been getting into Star Wars lately, and I thought, yeah, I have all the figures for Star Wars, maybe we can do something with that. Just kind of looking for things to do since this is a dry summer. Alright, so we're looking at this right here. This could get confusing. There's some more literature here. The adventure that include a small area with a back of the console or back of the castle. This is a mod. The fact that adventure features the first ever Easter egg in a video game. Oh, I didn't know that. This is a mod to the fact that. So this game here actually had one Easter egg. So I'm assuming that this is the Easter egg. Those are always fun to find in video games, Easter eggs. I've always would find some in Grand Theft Auto and stuff. Matter of fact, I didn't even play Grand Theft Auto in years. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm confused here. So it looks like that's the back side. Okay, I see the arch. So this actually goes here. Hey, you know, sometimes you just don't know. Maybe that's the Easter egg back there. And so it's like this. Oh, okay, I see the sub-step. So we're going to have to make 4 of these little baskets here. And then you would just take these and you'd set them down here. Oh, we got to put flat tiles on the sides. So we're going to have to make 4 of these here and set them down. So set them down like that. Okay. Now, the color palette on this so far looks pretty good, right? Well, if you've watched the part exploration, you'll know pretty soon this will change. Atari was basically... I had a black version Atari. Mine didn't have the fake wood grain on it. Some Ataris had the wood grain on them, and there was some that had the... If anybody remembers, there was a version of the Atari that had a speaker inside. I think it might have been meant for a monitor or something, where you can mount like a 2 or 3 inch speaker in them. Mine did not have the cutouts, but the old ones did. A buddy of mine has the old one with the cutout, and he would like to mod it to where that actually plays sound. I think it was meant, you know, probably back in the early days where it would just be where you just have the sound coming out of the console versus out of the speakers on the TV. In fact, who plays video games on a television anymore today? I mean, I'm all into PC gaming now, so I'm not really into... Wait a minute, what about this? Oh, I messed up. This, I thought it went back here in this little tube right here. No, it goes inside the stud. Okay. Sometimes those arrows could be a bit pain in the rump, Lego. You got to stay away from those. Even I've learned my lesson. So this, I have to get a pair of needle nose pliers to feed that in. You know, it might be easier if I just stick this in here. Well, maybe not. I got to be careful. Yeah, when I was a kid, though, I mean, playing video games was, you know, fun if it was on a rainy day or it's at night, but in the daytime, though, I'd rather be out with friends, surfing, skateboarding, whatever. I wasn't really into sitting in the house gaming all day. Not a bad little castle, to be honest. I'll show you the front here in a second. So we got a sub-step we got to do. And that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alright. I'm going to have to empty this thing off when I get done. What I usually do, for those who don't know, if you're new and just tuning in, I usually back up my camera after every bag. The reason why I do that is, well, to clean off the memory. Plus I got a bunch of old builds on there too that I just finished up. Making sure here. I think that goes on the back. It sure does. If you don't have long fingernails, these are almost impossible to pick up off the table. There's this dude that I know, and I don't know what it is with guys these days. I don't know if it's the new fad or what, but I wouldn't say he's a friend, but more of like an acquaintance. He's got these really long fingernails for a dude. I mean, they're long. Like mine are down here, but his come out to about here. And he works on mechanical stuff. And I'm like, I asked him, well, what's with the long nail? He goes, oh, because it's just easier to pick things up and stuff. And I'm like, you sure? Because that looks awfully painful to me. And he comes out and says, oh, it's just kind of like a fad. And he's probably about 20 years younger than I am, actually. But he's like, oh, this is just a fad. This is something cool. And apparently, I guess the ladies like it. And I'm just thinking, well, ask my lady friend. And she's like, oh, no. That's what possesses dudes to do that. And I'm like, I have no clue. So this just sits right here. And I believe that's it. Yes. Okay. So this is what remains here for bag one. We haven't done anything with these big pieces yet, so we're and that cord over here. This stuff will still remain. So these were in an unmarked bag, so you have to slowly fill out what you need. So far, bag one builds the Adventure cartridge and the Adventure, I don't know what you would call these, little, not like a statue, like a shrine or something. I don't know what you'd call these for, but it's pretty cool though nonetheless. Okay, now let's move on to bag two. And this time I'm using one of these little cotton candy containers. Don't worry, I already cleaned the candy out of there. And this part of the build looks like we're building a cart holder. And yes, that is reddish brown. So while I was away, well, you don't know because I edit all the boring stuff out. I had to get up and brush my teeth. So let's see what we can do here. So hopefully this reddish brown doesn't break and creak and crack and all that stuff. Okay. Kind of curious to see how this is going to turn out. Of course, you can just look at the picture, but that's never fun. So I'm just going to work on it. Ooh, I hope that wasn't a bad sign. I'm just going to work a little bit on everything right now, and see what I can do. And yeah, just sitting here talking about the dentist has got me worried. Time I would go there, they'd always find something wrong. It's not the trip to the dentist. Usually, sometimes they'll take their time, and then they send you a big bill for it. Like, I don't have that kind of time to waste. All right. I think this is what the cartridges will rest on, but... So I'm not sure how long the series is going to be. So right now this is just part 1. There is no way I will even attempt to build this in one sitting. Unless you have a bunch of friends and stuff helping you build this, and it would go pretty quick. We don't need these. And what you see here is pretty much what the whole build's going to be at this point. So the adventure game, they probably just gave us a bit of a sample of color, and after that, that's it. That's all you're doing is pretty much black, brown, and dark orange. We've got to simulate that wood grain finish. I'm looking for... Oh, I made a mistake. I gotta pop all these out. At least it's got a brick separator to aid in the build. There we go. There's supposed to be those 1x2 jumper plates in these two areas. There we go. And at least this instruction manual has red outlines, but red and brown just don't go together very well. So they could have just used a light blue or something, maybe white. I use several colors for mine. It depends if what color the build is. And as we speak, I am rendering up a part exploration. Obviously, you'll see that before this, but it's not the part exploration to this set. I'm behind on one set right now. I'm trying to get it done. And is it the profile bricks that go in there? Just regular brown? I'm trying to find a bunch of these profiles, so I'll pull those out. And there we go. That's what I needed. Okay. I got to make 4 of these here. Stick those in there. And these go here. Oh, that lines up perfectly with the jumper plate. Cool. I don't know where we're using the profile bricks yet, or these column bricks. So what I'm going to do is start pre-sorting a lot of this stuff now. And if I need to find it, it would be a lot easier because I'm getting confused with these. So start popping all that out, and then I don't know how long we're going to spend on this. Maybe just do 3 bags. I don't know. Is there a 1x1 brick that goes in there? Oh, this goes here. And then there's a 1x3. Well, I saw that one because I already pulled it out. When you do this, you may want to pre-sort your bags. Like what I did here is a little overkill. Just take 1 bag. You don't need to do what I did and dump them all out. I just do that for the brick explorations, but all you got to do is just take 1 bag and just sort through that. Okay. And a bunch of these. You have to reach down in there and put these in here. If you got big fingers, it's going to be tough. Okay. Okay, step 10. Okay, we're doing big stuff now. First things first, let's start with the profile bricks. And the horizontal lines go on the outside of of the card holder. Matter of fact, it kind of reminds me of like my truck is pretty old, right? So it has a cassette holder, and it's kind of what it looks like here. It holds tapes. You know, if I haven't used tapes in like 20-25 years, I still have all my mixtapes from the 80s and 90s, but I mean, my car still has the tape thing in there, which I'd like to replace and do something with it. Because at that point, it just takes up space. Okay. Guess we got to build 3 little shelves. Just going to do these real quick. So bag 2 is just basically the cartridge holder, or the card holder. Depends on what you want to pronounce that as. Got one more of these left to build. Here I'm off, and I'm still thinking about work, which is sad. Okay. So I don't know why we switched it up and did black in here all of a sudden. That's how it's supposed to look. Seems like on this camera black doesn't show it very well. Alright. Another reason why I like these type of builds is because we're taking something from reality and recreating it into Lego. That's a regular brick. And we got to make 2 of these. So I'm going to leave that there. So I'll have to look over my shoulder at the book. I'm having a hard time. Let's start dividing pieces out here. Grouping things together. Until I find the 1x6 flat tile. Or the 1x6 plate. Now, I don't see it in here. I could have mixed it up, but I never did anything with bag 2. So I don't know what happened here. Let's take a look. I don't think it would have been that one. I notice this plate here is kind of discolored. I hope that's not a bad sign. Looks like this is all older brown here. I mean, I hate to think that, but if they're starting to sell brittle brown, then yeah. Let's go back here and take a look at our work. Okay, I see what happened. Let me take a look here. Where's that sticker sheet at? Well, I can't find it. I got a bunch of stuff behind me. Okay, so they show a solid piece here, and I never put that there. So, isn't that lovely? I'm going to have to take that whole thing apart to put these in here. It won't be that bad. I just need to slide this out a little bit here. And, wow, that just did not want to budge. and just peel this piece out. Let me make sure here real quick. Sometimes you make boo-boos, and like I could be like some and just leave that in there. Yeah, that's just, make sure. Yeah, that's just these. I was like, where do these come from? Well, no, that's what they're for. So this goes here, and this sits back onto here. So I got to transplant all this stuff on here. Okay, well, I got to peel this guy off somehow, and then just do that. If you're watching this, just note the bigger plates go there. So I'm just going to wiggle it loose. If it will come apart, and then just pop this out of here. I don't need that 1x2, just these 1x6s out of here. Then I can come in here and repiece all this together now. Okay, and stick this all back together here. So yeah, it's going to get a little sloppy here because I got to do the other side as well. So I'm just going to piece it back together. And yes, you know, I mean, I make mistakes sometimes. All right, I got to do this side here. Now this side's already done. So we only made a mistake once. Okay, that's not too bad, just one mistake. All right, now we can proceed. I got two of these, so there we go. Had to fish one of these out of there. And we got two regular bricks. We got a couple of these. Set these off to the side. Hope I'm not making any more mistakes here. Yeah. I am short one. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to know what the creators' minds are. Usually in the manuals for these more elaborate builds, they usually talk about the designers. I've been thinking about doing that with mine. Like, what was going through my mind when I built my own stuff, you know? What was I thinking at the time? Usually I'm like, when I'm building campers, you obviously can tell I'm thinking about vacation. That's what I usually think about when I'm doing those things. Like, just getting in the camper and going somewhere. I don't have a camper, but that's probably what I would be doing right now. And those are 1x2s. Okay, we're just about there. Okay, this is kind of elaborate here. I guess we got to piece together some supports. Up here. Okay. Don't want to lose that. May need that 1x6 plate. We had to struggle to get that out of there. This one goes right here. And this manual's going to play games with us. It wants to move around. Still haven't made a lectern for it yet. Yeah, making that old retro style TV and Lego and making it come to life, you know, and then you got stuff like this. And it's like, my childhood is complete. And we're going to make some more of these. Every time I'm messing with reddish brown, I'm always thinking the stuff is just going to shatter and break. Just, or now it's new dark red. Well, now it's old dark red if it's breaking so easily. So it's always the cool colors that you got plentiful of that were breaking. It's like, I won't be using those for a while. I'm telling you, this is probably the bottom right down here. Almost like, looks like a caddy you would put your 8-track tapes in. And there's probably some out there that don't even know what an 8-track is. I know one. I have a working 8-track in my shop. I have a few tapes for it. Nothing that I particularly want to listen to. Usually I get old electronics. I usually get, like, you know, if you get like an old console stereo or an old stereo system from the 70s or early 80s, usually the owners that give those things away or sell them or whatever, or I find them, they still have a bunch of the tapes in them and records and stuff like that, mostly gospel stuff. But you know, I watch a few other electronic guys on YouTube. We all agree on one thing, you know, when you get this old vintage stuff, we always find gospel, and the number one thing we find in there is Jimmy Swaggart. Doesn't matter if it's a cassette, an 8-track, or an LP, that's what you get. Oh, Jimmy Swaggart. I wanted to see what he sounded like, you know, what does he play, and it was not something I would want to listen to every day, obviously. So a little after my time, or before my time, whatever, I don't know, but I was thinking, yeah, I'm not that desperate for music. So I just said, no, not for me. And that takes care of that. So that's bag 2 right there. And this is the only pieces that are remaining right there. And let's see if this actually fits in there. Yeah. Is that how far it goes in? Sure does. You can set that on a desk and no one will know if it's fake or real. I think something's loose in there. Could be one of those tiles, and that's exactly what it is. Because I had to take that thing apart, shove that down in there real good, and we'll mush those back down in there. There we go. And you put your carts in there like that. Just pretending it's an 8-track player, and you got to yank it out when you're done. So that is bag 2. Okay, now we're going to move on to bin 3. So far we've built 3 things here. I'll set these off to the side. And let's see what bag 3 has to deal with today. So, looks like the remaining of this is the Atari. And it doesn't tell us exactly what part of the Atari we're building, and I doubt this is all what's in the Atari. So, let's begin with bag 3. I think I'm in about 40-45 minutes so far. Probably edited time. So let's get going here. And so far we've already done 1/8 of the build. That's not too terribly bad. And yes, lots of big plates. Lots of long, skinny, easily breakable plates. Get some of these special angular plates as well. Great for vehicles. I saw those and thinking, oh, I'm going to have to buy a few of those. I think we're also making another cart in here too. Looks like a little airplane. Okay. I don't know when we're going to use that stuff over there, but let's hope it's soon. Because whatever's left over, I have to dump it in the next bin. Now these type of plates here with the studs around the three sides, I mean, there's a couple of items you could use these for. I really don't use those for anything. They're good for billboards. So you just put some lights on them and there you go. Alright, so we got plenty of big stuff in here. We're just going to have to slowly rifle through all this and just piece this together here. Okay. And then a 6x14. So we're building a platform. Obviously this is too big for a cart, so guess what this is probably for? We're going to be working on the base of the Atari. You know, it's kind of funny, after I built that working television, now you're starting to see a lot of this stuff, but mine was from, well, the guts were pulled from a non-working TV, and instead of it going into landfill, I just got the service documentation, repaired the chassis, and the cabinet was pretty much toast. It's just, it had that, oh, I don't know what that stuff is called, like a Tolex type covering, and it was not really pleasant. It was really sticky and stuff, and the cabinet was partially cracked, and I thought, well, this would be a perfect thing to do, is to just have fun with it and make a cabinet out of Lego. I still have the TV parts. They're actually sitting in a bin. Alright. Okay. Ooh, where are you going? Yes, I think this is the base of the Atari, because there's no other way. There's nothing that would really indicate this would be anything else. So there's 3 games. The thing does come with 3 games, more than what the original console had. With all the big stuff, I still can't find that plate that goes there. Okay, well, oh, there it is. Once you get rid of all the big stuff, the little stuff's easy to get a hold of. Okay. We gotta make 2 of something. I'll set this off to the side, and we're actually going to start using some of this stuff over here. So I need to make 2. So you're just going to take these and stick them underneath. And the book uses those goofy arrows, which are kind of just why, you know, so I don't even bother with the arrows. In case you're really paying attention, so I'm just following the next step over. Probably the sides, or maybe the top of the console. We really don't know that yet, because, well, we haven't put it together. Yeah, while I paused the thing, I also cleaned off some of my memory too, so it shouldn't have any boo-boos or issues. Alright. Okay, did I put something in here wrong? I see where these go. I just got to find the other two plates. Okay, let's start setting these regular ones. Okay, I found one here. So we're starting to use this stuff up over here on this side. Okay. And the next thing is we're going to have to face this off with a bunch of cheese slopes. At least they're 1x2s, not 1x1s. Now, there's always that thing, is this repetitive? This is part of the build, so no. It's if I were to make 20 of these and it's buried somewhere or something that could be changed up, yeah, it would be kind of boring. Usually 2 is company, 3 becomes a crowd. That old saying, so. You've got to put 12 of these on each one. So that's 24 of these little black slopes in total. And I found out where these go. They actually go on the sides of that frame we just built that I had misplaced. Oh, I see it. I'm already losing stuff. So there's one done. And you can always just do this too. So, and we got to do this one now. And the brackets have got to face downwards. You know, and it's possible you could build your own cases. There are some people out there who build their own computer case out of Lego. They'll just have the metal chassis underneath it and just build around it. Lego has all the parts and stuff to actually make a really cool custom computer case. It'd be good for visual purposes, but you know, if you're like, you know, put it on a display somewhere, but just for everyday use, it wouldn't be practical. It wouldn't last too long, and without the proper airflow, it'd be noisy. Okay. And then once you're done with that, grab our frame. And these go on the sides. So I think this is pretty darn close to 1-to-1 scaled. And this is pretty much the same method I do when I build my decks for my houses, like the platforms for the second floor. It's just all about plating it in and getting them all to line up. Sometimes you just have to flip things around, and that's what it looks like on the bottom. So far so good. And I think the colored tile and the plate are meant as indicators. Alright, so far we haven't really been messing with little pieces. Maybe for the adventure castle, but for the rest of this, it is pretty much very big, basic stuff. So, very big. And a couple of these snot bricks go on the sides. So I think bag 3 is the Atari console base. So what would I label it as? Probably just console base, or just put video, you know, game system base or something. I don't know what I would, how would I word that? I don't know. This one here's got a bunch of steps, so this one really going to have to follow along here. So nice, pretty magenta brick, and we're going to be probably burying this up with some other stuff here as well. Yeah, it's a pretty soothing build so far. It's not bad. It's not like I'm complaining through it or anything, except for the stickers, but whoops, we don't want that in there. And a couple of gray bricks. And then these right here. So it's even here and it's even here. Like I said, will I save this build? I don't know yet. And, you know, know, somebody asked me, what do you do with all these sets that Lego sends you? It depends. Like, I got a bin right now that are just, it's filling up with Lego sets, complete Lego sets that I got to demolish. So right now they're sitting in a shop, in my shop, and I have to go through them. I'm still going through my personal stuff right now, and that's pretty much the story there. It's just, you know, and I got an offer, I think a couple of weeks ago, or a week or two ago, from the day I'm filming this, and I just flat out just denied it. I was like, sorry, but no. And the reason why I did that was, you know, I don't want to overflow and have too many Lego sets. You know, some people think I'm nuts, but you know, you got to be careful. You know, you can literally run out of space with this stuff real quick. Not sure what the Technic thing is for, so we'll find out eventually. We were going pretty fast, and all of a sudden we're doing this little thing here, making sure it was only one of those. I don't want to make two of these and kind of get bored of it, but let's see here. And I need to start making these videos more tailored for, you know, people who have autism, ADHD, who can't really focus on stuff like this. You know, here's the deal, coming from experience, if you cannot focus through a build like this, because it's pretty lengthy, here's what you do. You build a little bit of it and you stop and take a break. Okay? No need to rush, because that's how mistakes happen. So, when you're working on stuff like this, you know, just, okay, I'm getting bored of it, let me stop, take a breather for a bit. Now, for myself personally, I can't do that because I'm on a deadline. Like, this is due in 2 weeks when I'm filming this, so I have to get it done as soon as possible. And that's how it is. So what does this do? I don't know. Maybe it's this so you can tap on it and annoy the kids. And we got to get some of these here. And it looks like these hang over the back right here. And making sure it's in the right area. And kind of mush all that down in there. And one thing I've noticed though, since all this stuff has been going on, I'm getting behind on comments again. And, you know, I used to, you know, condemn YouTubers who would do that. And what am I doing? The same thing. Basically, when I first started all this, this was just merely as just a little time waster hobby. And it got pretty advanced to the point now where, you know, now I'm doing set offers from Lego, and in addition to the day job, and it could be pretty time consuming. One of my friends asked me, do you get paid for this? No, I wish, but I think the sets are payment enough. You know, I just sit here and build them and put my 2 cents worth in. That's pretty much how I do it. And, you know, like, doing a review on this so far. So far, it's a very relaxing build for an adult. I don't think many kids are going to know what an Atari is. So, for me, for my age range, this is a very delightful build. It's like a flashback to the past. So, I don't know what this is for still. Alright, we got to put... okay, I think this is the drawer mechanism. So we got to put a bunch of these here, and before I commit to that, Alright, it lines up with this crack here, and it runs along here. So, oh, hold the phone. There's actually 2x4s that go in there. So let's set these over here. So just strike that, just the same location, just with 3 of those. Yeah, I think this is more, like I said, this would be a good thing, you know, especially if you have children or grandchildren, you know, that probably don't even know what one of these are. A lot of kids don't know what an Atari is, let alone played with one or played on one. And this would be a good little family project. Is this build broken down for family use? Not. Maybe. Some parts. Lego was starting to introduce that, which I wish they would have kept with it. Because I think the family-related builds are a lot better than a solo build. You know, if somebody wants to build it solo, they could, but sometimes it's just better to just do that anyways. You know, we were on a Discord call tonight and talking about how much we already hate summer already. Some people are like, oh, I hate winter, I don't want it to be cold. And I'm like, where I'm at, we welcome the cold, we welcome rain, the cold weather. Sometimes we get up and it's foggy outside. No, not when it's 300 days of sun. Trust me, you will get bored of it just like you get bored of the rain, you know. It gets pretty boring after a while. Okay. Now we start on the next side here. And we're going to drop these down there. Yeah, so far I am, you know, like I said with the stickers, I try to block that out, except if I have to fight to put them on. But so far this is a very relaxing build. It's enjoyable. Very enjoyable. I was going to say, are we doing that whole, let's replace it with another type of brick? We're going to have to take it apart because I couldn't find it. And yeah, but this manual here, you're going to have to watch when you're building this stuff because you can easily put pieces in the wrong place real quick. So, just, whoops, this black piece doesn't definitely go there. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a 4th bag after this. I may just do it. Okay. So far so good. Step 17. And it's a sub-step. So I'm trying to get done with a tutorial. I know I've been getting more fans asking for vehicle builds, and I didn't know my vehicle skills were that good, but I'm getting more requests for them. So starting to piece those together, and I'm almost done writing up a book for a build for August. Well, by the time you're watching this, I think this is released sometime in August. And I can't share that build with you guys and gals, but it's a vehicle. Something you can build, and it's something related to summer, so you can probably figure it out. That's all the hints I'm going to give you, but it is related to summer. Summer fun. Okay. That goes there. So far it's looking like an Atari. Well, it doesn't look like anything, to be honest. Now this step here, we're actually going to have to build 2 of these. So we're going to go ahead and build these in pairs right now. And working with 1x12 plates is kind of brutal. At least they're not small 1x1s, but still. I'm telling you, these probably go here. We don't know yet. Well, that's exactly where those go. So guess what? We're going to have to face these off with slopes. Out of all the colors the Atari had to be, it had to be black. Black and brown, but that was like a color scheme back then. I mean, how many game consoles today have the faux wood grain finish on them? I mean, we have a lot of black consoles out there, but nothing that has any character anymore. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this bag here didn't look like it had any extra pieces this time. Usually you get one or two parts, but maybe we might. Well, we won't. Matter of fact, maybe we're missing a piece. And I do have these in black, so I'm not too worried about if I am. Usually A, they roll on the floor, B, they're in another bin. Let's see here. Well, C, it could have rolled under here. So actually, maybe this was a leftover piece after all. Just one thing. And these go on the sides. So we're trying to match up a contour. Oh, it does fit pretty flush. I thought that wouldn't work, but now look at that. I mean, that's a pretty good building technique there. Good snot method to kind of get that in there. So the design team really did come out with a really good job. And no, I don't just say that because they give me this stuff. I just, like I said, this is honest reviews. So far, there's nothing bad to say about it. But that's the basis from bag 3. Okay, I'm in the mood to do bag 4, so I think I'm going to break these up into 4 bag segments. So let's set that off to the side for right now. And let's see what bag 4 has to offer. And I'm using a cottage cheese container. Just shows this. So I don't know what that is right there. So we're just going to keep building as much as we can here. And my apologies. I'm actually racking up points on a mobile game right now. It's double emeralds or whatever, so I'll be taking a peek at that from time to time, about every 30 seconds. So, make sure we don't have any multiple steps, and it's pretty much the same colors throughout the rest of the build. So let's just dive right on in here, and we'll get going on this and see if we can go through this as quickly as possible. You know, I don't know if I'll be doing 4 bags per each session or what, but well, that's a black tile. I just saw one of those and I thought it was a plate. Well, there it is. And there we go. 2x12 plate there. Yeah, so I'm taking breaks through this. I'm not going to rush through it or anything like that. Okay, there's a mistake here. Okay, I see what's going on. Okay, you may be tempted. There's actually 4 studs in here. So here, I got to get a 2x8. You know, sometimes I hate when you get these stinking ads on these games. They'll do a 30-second ad and then they'll pause for 5 seconds, tell you to download an app, which is stuff that I wouldn't want on my junky tablet, and then they'll say, oh, you gotta wait another 5 seconds. Are you sure you want to navigate away to claim your points? I'm like, yeah, what else do you think I'm here for? Well, that's what I'm there for. The Lego rushes through some of these steps too, I've noticed. I guess it's okay to do that with mine, but I try to make my building guides real easy to follow. Alright. Hold on, I want to take a look here. Is this going to be a mirror or something? Alright, before I start any further, this is actually a mirrored project. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, let's just speed through this because it is exactly the same thing. Pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and let me make sure here, because I believe it's exactly the same thing. Let's just mirror them then. So this is the instruction what I'm working on. Let's do the mirror over here, and we're just going to mirror them out. I may kick myself in the rump for this, I don't know, but let's mirror them. Let's make it hard. Let's make it harder than it is. Maybe we'll speed it up faster. We don't know. But if this is like a secret drawer or something like that, then that's pretty much what it's going to do. It'll be, oh, come on, hurry up and give me my prize so I can move on. I don't want to watch some boring old ad. Well, just have it playing on my thing. I guess it's done. Oh, it's one of those stupid ads that blacks out your screen and makes you restart the game, and they don't even give you your prize, and they count it as a turn. Yeah, it's one of those. And let's see here. So basically I'm spending more time going through the small, trying to find the small stuff. Okay. Okay, stop bothering me. Just let me get back to the shop so I can pretend like I'm watching the advertisements so I can get my coins or gems or whatever they are. Alright, so basically we're just going to mirror these out. Mirror it, just mirror everything. Because I'm going to look here. Let me doubly make sure. That's exactly what it is. It's completely mirrored. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So next thing is to add plates in here, and I believe these are 2x12s and a bunch of 1x8s. Come on, give me my coin. Give me my diamonds. That's what they're called. They're called diamonds. Give me my diamonds. I don't know if I mentioned this or not. It was like a month or two ago. I had a viewer on my main channel saying they don't think they can trust me, or I'm not a valuable source because I had diamond studs in my ears. I'm like, so it's just an accessory. I mean, probably never saw a dude with pierced ears before, but I was just sitting there going, really? Alright, hold on. Oh, wait a minute, I was looking at it wrong. It's like, that shouldn't fit there, but yeah, it does. I thought, okay, what are we putting in there? This manual is starting to get pretty annoying. I just don't have a space for it. It's pretty big and heavy right now. I have to wait for the countdown timer. So technically I'm multitasking right now. That's right, you give me my, you better give me my diamonds. Yeah, but some people are pretty old school. Well, I looked at it, it was a younger kid. I was like, really? Okay. Still looking at this the same way. So I'm focusing on this one first. This is the one that I'm working on that I mirrored over here. Okay, we need a bunch of these. Well, it doesn't show these yet. Alright, it needs the tiles in here, but I need to find the corner here. Let me see if that's where it goes. Now it goes up against the edge like that. So once you start one side, it's pretty easy. Just start building your way out. So let me kind of slide all this out of here. And we'll start pre-sorting a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm looking for black pieces, so I'm going to sort all the black in separate categories. And then we should be able to find the corners real quick. That's all I found there. So let me make sure here. Do we need 2 of those? So it's just 1. Let me make sure on the next page here. Sometimes it's oh, okay. Okay, one of these is not a mirror. We're going to stop here. And the reason being is the other one is actually slightly different. Slightly different. So we're not going to do any more. That nearly caught myself because I was looking for this. Basically, it's just a Technic brick and a 1x1 brick. I guess I could put that in there, huh? It's like that. This could be a stop or something too. So it showed this, but they looked identical. And then they just proceed on like normal here. So, oh, I reached my limit. I can't get any more diamonds in the game. And no, it's not a slot game. It's nothing like that. I don't play those type of games. It's a farming game is what it is, essentially. Okay. And 2 of these. All right. You know, the only sad thing about doing this is I can't just take my time on it, essentially. You know, I can't just put this in my stash and say, I'm going to build this set when I get around to it. You know, I can't just be like, I'm going to build this like on a rainy day. They won't let you do that because this is all time-based. This is all time-sensitive stuff, so I can't just be like, I'll say this would be a great winter project right here. This really would. But I can't. So I just have to build it now and get it done and be like, okay, there we go. And I think the last piece here is a 1x2. And you can probably tell I'm getting a little tired. So far the build's pretty entertaining. Just a long week. And after that, we're going to have to cake a bunch of plates on things. A couple ways of doing this. I'm just going to mirror as I go. So here, we mirrored here, and mirrored there, and then we'll just proceed on here. And I'll just mirror it out. Alright. I need one of these in red, facing like this. I think the reason why they do certain colors in here is for the builder to easily identify, like, okay, we're turning this piece, I would have got confused there. that's what I'm gathering what the designer's intentions are for. Matter of fact, this would make a great fall project, like before Halloween. It's got that Halloween vibe to it, so this would make a great little Halloween build. Like I'm just debating if I should build my brick pumpkin this year. But now, well, with me having a copy of my own building instructions, I could build that pumpkin in a matter of minutes versus like hunting down for the pieces and trying to remember what I did. That's the beauty of having your own building guides. Now let me check the building thing here again. Alright, so essentially this is the same thing, just mirrors. So we got to set these off to the side. We're going to have to build some mirror stuff. Alright. And some rocker plates. So I'm taking it, this is probably to contour the sides a bit more. So we're not doing that whole thing again. Okay. There's one of those. And we take, obviously I need that. And this, well, let's slow down for a bit here. We're going to need to make a reversed copy of that before we place that in there. So we're going to do this first. Now the reason why when I do my building guides I try not to use different colors is to save you time from finding different part lots. You know, nobody wants to, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm using 6 1x2 red bricks and I sneak a 1x2 blue brick in there and it's buried. You know, some people do that because it's easier. I do it, you know, for the build experience, I just do it a little differently, just to save you time and money, because some parts are cheaper than others. And this one here, I think this is the original. Okay, this goes like this, and it just sits on this flat tile. So I have a feeling this is just going to be contoured here, and then the other one's just going to be mirrored, and we'll set it over there. So that takes care of that. And I'll check my work as I go too when we do that whole thing. And then, why don't you just ask me to build more of these? Okay. So actually we're going to have to build 4 of these instead of just 2 like the book tells us. I'm just going to do that real quick. Alright, after that, rocker bearing plates. Keep these over there. I need these. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just snap these on now and get them prepared. So there's one done. Just setting all the pieces that I absolutely just don't need right now. I'm looking for the rocker bearings. So that's what I'm looking for there. And they almost look the same when I'm just roughly glancing through things. All right. Whew, got two of those done. A lot of... Now, this does get a little repetitious after a while. But I still can't judge the build. I don't need that. I can't judge the build because this is part of the contour. It wasn't like that micro build that I did where I was just like, oh, I got to get this done. Oh, I'm missing a piece here for that. And I was like, this, I kind of want to savor the moment. Not this step so much, but... Okay. After you make 4 of those, well, 2 of them if you're doing the step, then you have to take a plate, stick these on like this. And I think that's how it's supposed to be. And then we'll take the other one here. We'll make this one real quick. It's the same thing. You can just rotate this around. Wait. Messing up here. It's supposed to go on the top like that. I was sticking them on this side. Now I gotta stick it like that. Now, these fit in here. And this goes backwards. The only difference between these two is these ends right here. One has a Technic, one has a regular. And now we're going to have to cover this up. Remember, I'm still working on this piece here. And so now the fun task of the manual ready to fall off my area that I'm sitting on. And then we're going to mirror these up. Start wrapping things down slowly here. All that orange we're covering up very slowly. Let's see here. And back here, shows it even with this one here. You need 2 of these. This goes like this. Kind of wish the original Atari had a drawer in it for your games, but sadly it didn't. Yeah, never did. And then my apologies if I'm taking a long time here. I'm kind of really focused on like what I'm doing here, like reading this and such. Let me go back a page here. Okay, I think I know. Okay, so these are spacers. I was looking at it thinking, and I'll show you the book. Okay, I wasn't really paying attention here. I first thought this was behind the back here, but it wasn't. So those are actually regular bricks. Wasn't paying attention too much. So if you get stuck there, that's essentially what you're doing, is you're confusing yourself. So you don't want to do that. And we'll just do this real quick. And we'll just piece these 2 together. And then, you know, once you figure out a little bit of a rocky spot here, then you can go real quick. Not a lot of parts left for bag 4. And then after you're done with that, we're putting the flat tiles in here. Okay. And something like this, with 1x3s at the end. Not sure what's going to go in there yet. We haven't finished it yet. I could cheat, but then it's not fun. And then we got to set these down inside the frame. So we'll slide the frame back over here, or the base. put it the right way without anything that's underneath it. And okay, I missed 2 pieces in here. Actually, several pieces. My bad. All right, so slide that out of the way. I forgot to put these slopes in here. I was looking at it thinking, I'm missing some stuff. No, I'm not missing stuff. I just got lazy and skipped it. That tells me it's time to head in for bed for the night. Haven't done anything with those plates yet. I hope I didn't miss anything and messed up here. I'm going to fast forward to make sure here. Alright, I see where these go. Alright. This goes here. So that means that this one goes here. Now, these go in here, and I think these just attach down in here like that, but let me look here. Maybe I'm putting that in wrong. Okay, hold on, this sits like this. Okay, it fits like a puzzle. Ooh, we're gonna have to really get that work down in there really good, huh? Get into a good position and just do that. So yeah, they got that really smoothed out on the bottom. And then this one goes here. Must be a power connector or something, a faux power connector on the back. They want to make this is real. This is pretty much 1-to-1, I believe. Pretty darn close. And that's it. With only 2 pieces remaining for bag 4. And no, I'm not going to do bag 5. I think we'll just do 3 to 4 bags every session. Let's take a look at our work. And that's what it looks like right there with the picture. So doing these in mirror is fine. You just got to really watch your steps. And bag 5 doesn't really tell us anything. So it just starts back in here. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll break there for the night. And yeah, so far bag 4 is just some side supports for the base. So I'll probably just tag it as base side supports or something like that when I do the indexing on these. So yeah, I mean, this is so far a very pleasant build. It looks just like the picture so far. Actually, this looks bigger than what's in the picture. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for bags 1 through 4.